I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Now, I want to talk to you guys about the DNC fraud lawsuit because that's a really important lawsuit that's going on right now. Actually, the judge dismissed it, so I needed to talk about it. But I also need to remind you to go to my GoFundMe page. I'm going to put a link in the description box below because I need your help so I could grow my channel, so I could do this full time instead of just doing it part time. So go help me out and go donate to my campaign. Okay, and but of course the big thing that happened is the judge dismissed the case, and I listened to the interview that H.A. Goodman did with Jared and Elizabeth Beck, and they had a lot of stuff that a lot of really important information because they've been practicing law for quite a while, so of course they're going to know the ins and outs of um, filing lawsuits and court cases and all sorts of things that has to do with the law that a lot of us just non-lawyers or non-prosecutors or non-judges wouldn't know about. But one important thing I wanted to mention first is that the judicial system is also corrupt, because if it was just the legislative and executive branches that were corrupt, it would pass, laws or not pass laws that would protect, you know, the people from pollution from companies like Chemours or DuPont or any other chemical manufacturing company that makes products like that, or the government doesn't regulate enough of the meat industry to make sure they keep our rivers clean and make sure the soils aren't contaminated by any of the industrialized processes they do to make meat, that kind of thing, or just raising the cattle in general, because of course you have a lot of contaminants that come from cow feces and or cow manure and pig manure, that kind of thing. So if the judicial system did work for the people, then they could reverse a lot of these corrupt and pro-corporate laws and these pro-corporate rulings and policies that always seem to go to the corporations and the wealthy people. And a lot of the problems that we're having right now, the judicial system would have overturned them. So the so the oligarchs wouldn't just be able to run roughshod over the people. But right now that's not the case. A lot of times just the wealthy people and the corporations, they always win a lot of cases. And one thing they did talk about was that a lot of times a lot of the corporations just win a lot of these lawsuits. And they talked about how if you're on the winning side of that, if you're the lawyers that's always defending the corporations, you're always winning, so you don't really, and since the problem's not affecting you in a negative way, you can't see the corruption. But they said that when they're on the losing side of the corruption, then they see all the corruptive rulings at how the corporations, all the big money interests, always seem to win. And if they're always winning, when sometimes the little guy, just the people or just the small plaintiffs, should be winning some cases, but they're not, especially when the law's on their side, there's a bunch of evidence that shows that, then you know that our judicial system's corrupt too. It's not just the executive and the legislative branches. And then now in 2017, our system's been corrupt for so long that this shit's just out in the fucking open. I mean, really. Because I can't put it into, I can't give a great explanation because I'm not really sure about the law and what the DNC did, but what they did was just file a motion to just dismiss the case. Well, the way that the DNC's motion was that the judge dismissed the case, he couldn't rule and say that the DNC was innocent in defrauding all the Bernie voters and the Bernie donors and just any of the people that voted during the Democratic primaries in general. So because of course in open court, the DNC lawyers admitted that they did not have to have a fair primaries. They could just, have a corrupt primaries where they just pick whoever they want and be damned about the fucking voters. So of course, after you hear that, you should be making sure you're voting for the Green Party, the Democratic Socialist Party, or some other independent party over the Democratic Party, because they're corrupt to the fucking core. I don't think they could be fixed at all. I think we have to dismantle them. We gotta crush the Democratic Party. We gotta build up a progressive party to take over for the Democratic Party. But of course, we actually really need to clean out this whole political and economic system we have, because all it is an oligarchic system. So we really have a lot of work to do to fix this. But just what's important is that the judge, he didn't disagree with any of the findings so far about how the Democratic Party is corrupt and DNC shouldn't have been doing any of their illicit behavior to defraud the voters. So all he did was say, I'm gonna dismiss this case because of some of the technicalities of it. So I'd say that hopefully, if Jared Elizabeth Beck, and Nico House and a few others that filed the lawsuit in the first place, if they do file another one, hopefully it's not with the same judge, because he's already shown that even though he agrees that the DNC defrauded the voters and the Bernie donors, he's probably going to find just another reason to dismiss it, because he's not committed to getting rid of the corruption in the Democratic Party. Because I think this would have been a great way for him and the judicial system to actually start fixing some of the corruption that we have in our system. But since him, and I'm pretty sure plenty of other judges, aren't really willing and able to start fixing and start ruling for the people and fixing some of this corruption that's ingrained in our system, he's going to just do the same thing and just dismiss it. If not for this reason, another reason.